Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again. I want to say welcome to the Lenny Robbins YouTube show. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding for each other. I want to say welcome to all Jamaicans, the 29th of August, Friday the 29th of August. Blessed love to all Jamaicans wherever you are, home and abroad. I want to use this opportunity once again to, give my little two-piece common sense idea about the entire campaign thing that is going on, election season that we are in Jamaica. I've been following the campaign closely as I can and as best as I can. As I said, because of work and studies, I'm not able to grab everything or to deep dive into it as I should. But from what I've been able to grab is what I choose to speak and dissect in my own way. I've listened to a debate between the JLP and the PNP. I think Mr. Tufton, the Minister of Finance, Pavel Williams, and the Education Minister was on the JLP team. And I don't know, well, let me just say this for clear. I don't remember the PNP team because I just see snippet of it. But I read about it in a real way. But I know Julian Robinson, Shadow Minister of Finance, was also on the PNP side along with two others. And I can't get tired of articulating the fact that we must watch what our politicians do and say, because it's important to us, to our existence, not to politicians' existence or to a party existence. It's all about the people, and I still believe that. I'll open my comments by saying that I must remind Jamaica that I have no dog in the fight. I have no dog in the fight, because I'm still convinced that none of these parties are the other. Having said that, I want to go back to that debate with Julian Robinson. I think they had two parts to that debate, part one, part two. And as you notice in the social media platform, one side is saying JLP won, another side is saying JLP, PNP won. And I just want to use this opportunity to point out to a lot of you people out there that, listen, it is time for you to start to wake up, wise up, and start to do your own research. Because a lot of these bloggers are being paid to push the narrative they're pushing. They're benefiting from pushing the narrative they're pushing, honestly. Both on the PNP side, both on the JLP side. And if you notice carefully what they do and how they do it, even after the debate, there's a big discussion as to who won and who lost. But that's a little peek inside the debate. Just notice what they do. Let us ask ourselves the question, because this political debate is not a thesis statement they're making. It's a promise to perform in the future. It's a promise to deliver to the people what the people want next year, not now or last year. The debate is all about looking forward. What can we do for the people? What we're going to do to make people's life better? That's the platform of the debate. That's the fundamental issue of a debate, or of the political debate that we are hearing. But no, listen to the discussion of the debate. It's all about who did this, what we did, who is lying, who is corrupt, who benefit from this, who benefit from that. And I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go back to, because this is what really brought me here this morning. I want to go back to Julian Robinson's take. I've listened to your speech, Mr. Robinson, namesake. I've listened to your speech and in that debate, what you commented in that debate, and I've listened to it a number of times. And it is shocking to me that I hear no one picks up on this. No one talks about this. Even in saying when they're giving their ratings and their reason why the PNP won that debate, no one mentioned this. And you said in your debate, Mr. Robinson, that the PNP promised to increase the income tax threshold from 3 million to 3.5 million. You attempted to explain the possibility of that. The JLP threw some figures out there that it will cost some research and explanation from experts that it will cost the nation $65 to $70 billion. You refuted that and named a figure of $35 billion. I can't question what the JLP is saying, and I'm not going to question what you're saying. But here is where, Mr. Robinson, here is where you came in. You come up for questioning by me, and I doubt what you're saying now. Honestly, this is what makes me doubt everything you said in that debate. Not only will you increase the income tax threshold from 3 million to 3.5 million, but you will also remove all taxes from overtime salary. You will remove taxes from overtime salary. Now tell me, Mr. Robinson, how on God hurt will the PNP now then cover the cost of increasing the income tax threshold, which you said going to cost your government $35 million, or the country $35 million. So what will it cost? Add that to the cost of removing taxes from overtime hours and tell us the total cost package that the country will bear. I noticed you didn't get into that, and nobody picks up on that. Nobody said anything about that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say it is important for us to watch what and listen to what our politicians are saying. Because they can say what they want to say and all they want to do and promise all they want to promise. But inside of that promise, they're still pulling the wool over your eyes. They're still telling you about honest government. They're still telling you about anti-corruption. They're still telling you about who is liars, who is telling lies and who is not lying. They're still telling you that who is transparent from who is not transparent. But yet, even on their debating platform, they're misleading you, misinforming you. They're not being honest. They're not being truthful. Now, I'm not saying this, Julian, because I'm putting down the PNP, because like I said, I have no dog in the fight. I have no dog in the fight. But as I see issue comes up, my friend, I have to talk about it. I have to highlight it. And right there, Mr. Robbins, you were misleading the people with crap. And it hurts me to see that you people are on a platform selling yourself as the next leader of the country is going to take the country and uplift the quality of life to give the people of Jamaica a better quality of life. You are on the platform saying that, not me. I'm not programming you or anybody of the PNP or the JLP to say what you're saying. You people are speaking of your own. And yet in all of that, you're still disrespecting the people by not being honest, transparent, and upfront with them. In the simplest of matter. In the simplest of matter. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all about who is trying to outdo who. This is trying to make a bigger promise. Because one of the fundamentals of PNP political campaign, if we all honestly are honest and go right back, and go back, take an historical perspective of political campaigns over the years. One of the fundamental strategy of the PNP is to promise people to put more money in their pockets. Promise to put more money in the people's pocket. But I have learned over the years that you cannot put more money in my pocket, sir, if you're not putting more money in the economy. And we are talking about, when I say putting more money in the economy, I'm talking about job creation. infrastructure development, educational development, health development, housing development, all of these things. Before the money you put in my pocket will make sense to us, or make sense to me. Now, a lot of people listening to you doesn't vote on performance. You know that, PNP. That was one thing that was good amongst PJ partisans. PJ partisans understand that most Jamaicans don't vote on performance. That's why they say Jamaica is PNP country. People don't vote on performance. People vote because of their pocket. Just tell them enough reason, give them enough reason to believe that there will be more money in their pocket, not without the understanding that even if you have more money in your pocket, that money may still not be of any real use to you or real value. Because what is the point in having money in your pocket when the entire country is sagging? When the socio-economics framework of the country is deteriorating right around you? You know, it's sad to see where we have come today as two political parties. But, you know, before I go on to that, let me say this to the debating commission in Jamaica, what they call yourself. Yeah, man, you people are also very, what do I call it now, discriminatory too. You're very discriminatory. And I say that because I stand to be corrected. But I'm saying it because I have no evidence one way or the other. So I'm choosing to put myself out there. Because I'm not afraid to say, yes, I'm sorry, yes, that was a misjudgment or a mistake on my part. But I'm sure I'm sure there are more than two political parties in Jamaica. And I question, why wasn't the UIC invited to the debate? The debate? Are they not contesting the general election? Aren't the UIC putting representatives out there to contest the general election? Yes or no? Now, if they are not, then I can see why they should not be on the debating team. But if they are, I cannot understand why they were not invited. And if they are putting representatives out there, ladies and gentlemen, across Jamaica, be honest, ask yourself, why did the debating commission did not invite these people also to the debate? Why was the UIC not invited to the debate? So, debate commission, if the UIC registered to participate in this upcoming election and you left them out of this debate, that's a very wrong thing on your part. Very bad thing, and it doesn't looks good for the debate commission. Doesn't look good for the debate commission. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a serious time, and like I said, it is important for us now to drop the stupidity and the crap of voting for parties. But for us to now to start to make certain that our vote is an investment. You understand? And you have to vote for things that you want, not what the politicians are telling you they're going to give you. And Mark Golden, even in the leadership debate, you made a very terrible mistake. Not well, I would even call it mistake, Mark Golden. You really told some lies about that FinSac issue. And you know you're lying, Mark Golden. Yeah, your company, DB&G, was a registered public company and was out there in the public domain and all of these things. But you know you're lying. You know you're lying. You know very well you're lying, sir. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to bring back to your attention just how these two leaders attack each other. The question was asked, And each of them, when they ask questions, their reply is more in attacking the other person than to answer the question they were asked. Both parties' representative seek to attack the other person rather than answer the question in its entirety. And this is where we as people need to start to dissect these things and analyze these things. As I said, a debate is not a, what we call it now, it's not a, whatever it is. Sorry about that. the terminology slips me there. It comes back, the debate is not a thesis statement to be explained. It is not. Debate is all about this political debate is about what can we do if I become the next government and maintain power and continue to be the government of Jamaica. What can I do and what will I do to make the lives of people better? And we ourselves as listeners and as supporters of either political party has to understand this one basic thing about these debates and these campaign speeches and all of that. They're all promises. Promises to make your life better. Promises to be transparent. Promises to give you better water supply. Promises to create jobs. Promises to make this cheaper. Promises to make that better. But notice how none of these governments, in essence, get to the heart of the present day cost of living. None of them get to the heart and the meat of that. They're talking about job creation. But let us be honest. Infrastructure development, all of these things. Does that guarantee us a better cost of living? Ask yourself the question, voters. Does all of that guarantee us a better quality of life? Does all of that helps to reduce cost of living in any drastic way that people can say, oh yes, my life is better? I've been saying this for a very long time, but I hear neither government speak about it. So go and talk about the disabled people and the aged and the elderly people. Prime Minister hinted at increase in pension for elderly people and all of these things. But I've been saying it for a long time. Pensioners need a rider on their pension. A COLA rider. COLA rider on their pension, Mr. Prime Minister. And this is to Mark Golden and Andrew Holness. Pensioners need to have that COLA rider on their pension. Cost of living adjustment. If your expert can tell you by how much cost of living has gone up, whether it goes up by 3 or 5%, then you should add that 5% to pensioners' pension. If it increased by 3% last year, this year they should have a 3% increase. If it's a 5% increase, they should have a 5% increase. Because since you value your seniors and your elders, then treat them right in every way they deserve to be treated. Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on again, but like I said, I want to use this opportunity to welcome all Jamaicans to the Lenny Robbins YouTube show. We're planning to broaden the scope and broaden this platform. I encourage everyone out there to subscribe, share this video, click that notification bell so whenever a video drop, it comes straight to your doorstep. Leave a comment, share and leave a like Also dislike, say what you have to say. It's great. We grow from everything because none of us know it all. And I'm hoping to grow in from all comments. Let us do this together, because if we're talking about the future and the betterment of Jamaica, then all of us have to come together to do it. I'm not interested in getting paid from no JLP. I'm not interested in getting paid from no PNP. What I'm interested in is just speaking it, putting it out there from my perspective, my own little common sense perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again, Lenny Robbins' YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding by watching what they do and what they say. Go out, cast a vote, but make sure in the back of your mind, you're not casting a vote because I love PNP or I love JLP. Because JLP don't love you. PNP does not love you. What they love is power. And I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. The hunger for power and the hunger to retain power is more powerful than the power or than power itself for these politicians. Ladies and gentlemen, be blessed. Thank you on this Tuesday, on this Friday, 29th of August. Over and out.